Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Flat Earth Theory, which is a version of the creation story that believes that the Earth was created exactly as it is, that the dinosaurs, all of the geological changes that happened in the early days of Earth's formation are just part of God's creation, that they were all created during the 6 days described in the book of Genesis, and that the Earth is the center of the universe. It's a literal interpretation of the Bible. And nowadays, people who consider themselves rational, intelligent people look down on flat earthers, and believing in a flat earth theory or even giving it a nod is considered evidence that a person is completely unhinged and we shouldn't take anything that they say seriously. So the first point that I want to make is that everything that we have ever believed has been wrong. Everything that we consider standard scientific knowledge and that we're supposed to just accept as truth has at some point been proven wrong in the long chain of scientific discoveries, even since before the scientific revolution. Galileo, Newton, Darwin, Einstein, all these people completely upended and disproved everything their predecessors believed to be verifiable fact. People thought for millennia that the Earth was the center of the universe and that the sun and the stars revolved around the Earth. Then we discovered that the Earth revolves around the sun, and everything those people believed was shown to be false. The same thing happened when Newton developed his laws of physics. The same thing happened when we discovered that microorganisms cause disease. Einstein's theory of relativity came along and called all of Newton's laws into question. Even now, we're making discoveries that disprove everything we thought we knew about the world. And it's only a matter of time before those ideas become recognized as irrefutable, and everything that we believed in the past will be shown to be wrong. So any approach that we take to any scientific inquiry has to be done from that vantage point. Anyone who says this is what science has determined and therefore we must all accept it as irrefutable fact doesn't know what science is. Because that's not what science is. Science is continuous discovery and continuously proving ourselves wrong. That's why we continue to make these discoveries, so that we can continue to learn and we can continue to discover the error of our ways. So if you truly believe in science, you need to be approaching it from the idea that what we now believe will eventually be proven to be wrong. It doesn't work for anyone to tell someone else this is science and everybody agrees on it and it's just fact, because science is the opposite of that. So when it comes to the flat earth theory, the first point I want to make, I want you to look at the view behind me. I'm going to step out of the way. Just look at this view and just admire the beauty looking across the water at the peninsula in the distance. Imagine that you're looking out the window at this or looking at any beautiful scenery. It gives you a nice, peaceful feeling that you're out in nature. Now imagine that this scene was created by natural geological forces the upheaval of the earth through millions and millions of years. And now imagine that this scene was created by God, and that everything that you see in this view was put here in a matter of days, exactly the way it is now, and that it's never changed and it never will. So ask yourself a question. What changed when I said that it had been created by God in 6 days? What about the view changed? What about your opinion of it changed? And if you were to walk out into the scene right now, what about your experience would be different between the two creation stories? The fact is that nothing changed. However the earth was formed, however it was created, however we got to this point, doesn't make a lick of difference. Makes absolutely no difference at all. Our experience doesn't change at all regardless of what we think about how the earth was created or how we got here. If you doubt what I'm saying, if you ever wonder what reality is, just look out the window and you'll see what reality is. Just because someone said it on the internet doesn't make it true. Or just because you read it in a book doesn't make it true. This day, this environment, it doesn't change based on something that someone on the internet said. If someone on the internet told me that the earth took millions of years to cool, and there was all this continental upheaval, and there was a giant continent called Pangaea that broke up into the continents that we know right now, and there's continental drift going on all the time, that doesn't affect this experience at all. It doesn't affect reality at all. And if you want to step out of the loop of what other people are telling you about what reality is, we could all be living in a Matrix-style simulation where time doesn't exist and everything was created exactly the way it is now, and fossils and carbon dating and everything were created to make us think that the earth is thousands or millions of years old, and we would never know the difference. We would never be able to tell the difference. And the fact is that our experience of life and the meaning of our lives doesn't depend on that at all. Regardless of how you think the earth was created, makes absolutely no difference to our lives. The reason that we're here is to engage with what's in front of us and to experience it and to have relationships with it and interact with it and to find some meaning in it. And how we got here is completely irrelevant. If we were in some sort of simulation that just created all of this out of nothing, maybe like 100 years ago or 200 years ago, it wouldn't change the meaning behind our lives. We would all be in exactly the same situations. We would all be facing exactly the same problems. We would all be struggling to overcome exactly the same challenges. Nothing would be different. Nothing is different if we believe a scientific explanation for how the world got here. Nothing is different if we believe a flat earth theory of how we got here. Nothing is different if we believe a matrix-style simulation explanation of how we got here. None of that matters. All that matters is how we engage with the reality that's in front of us, the people that are in front of us, the challenges that are in front of us. So it's just as easy to say that one theory is wrong. There's just as much evidence that one storyline or belief system is wrong as all of the others. None of them is superior. None of them is more or less true. And none of them is any more relevant than the others. I hope this helps somebody. I'll see you next week.
Is the Earth flat? Why do some people believe this? Is it another crazy conspiracy theory or is it true? Let's take a deep dive into the Flat Earth Theory. What is Flat Earth? There's an old theory that's been renewed about the Earth being flat. Is this true? I believe it to be true, but I prefer to call it a domed Earth. What do you think? Do you believe the Earth is flat or a globe? Please let me know. I am presenting this to hopefully pique your interest and to do your own research. Keep watching because there's a surprise about an astronaut crew people need to know. This is what we've been misled to believe what the Earth looks like. What if the globe Earth is a lie? I get it. People shouldn't believe everything we see online. However, should we believe everything the media says? Don't they have websites too? What, the media don't tell lies? What about the vaccines? What about the 2000 election? Votes went missing. The media was involved in the cover-up. The media is controlled by the Antichrist movement. They may at times present something as true, but have lies mixed in. This includes Flat Earth. Why do they lie about the Earth? They do this to mock God and His Word. If people were to believe the Earth was a dome more like a snow globe, as mentioned in the Bible, there would be more potential Christians, and Satan cannot have that. Remember, Satan is the father of lies. John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. I believe the Medea is named after Medea, the Greek goddess or demon of illusion. In Greek mythology, Medea was certainly a witch, if nothing else. Witchcraft is connected to the devil, the father of lies. We've been lied to for centuries at least, with television, for decades since they created it. Our minds have been manipulated so long with lies that when anyone comes along with the truth, we think that person is crazy. The Bible does speak about a flat earth long before the globe lie. Ephesians 4 verses 8 through 10. 8 Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive, and gave gifts unto men. 9 Now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth? 10 He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. Before Jesus died on the cross, all people went to Hades or Sheol. It was divided, one side like heaven, Abraham's bosom, the other side like hell. There were a few exceptions: babies, children, anyone whom God deemed not accountable for their actions. They died and went straight to heaven. Jesus still does that today. Enoch and Elijah went to heaven without dying. After Jesus resurrected, he went beneath the earth and gathered his followers and took them to heaven. If the earth was a globe, then the Bible would have mentioned Jesus went to the center of the earth. Instead it says he went beneath it. Psalm 139 verse 15. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Isaiah 40 verse 22. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers. That stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. In Isaiah 40 verse 22, the word circle doesn't apply to a globe earth, but a domed earth if you remove the firmament on the top of the dome. Keep in mind, a plate is circular yet flat. The base of a snow globe supports my point. Where do you think the concept of a snow globe and a dome stadium comes from? Truth hiding in plain sight. Genesis 1 verses 1, 6 through 10, and 14 through 17. 1 In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. 6 And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. 7 And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. 8 And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. 9 And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. 10 And God called the dry land earth. And the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. 14 And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. 15 And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. 16 And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. 17 And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. To sum this up, God created the earth and the firmament expanse in Genesis 1. Jesus Christ created the earth, all plant and animal life, and mankind. Before he created the earth, Jesus created the angels. Prior to him creating us, he created the earth. Above the earth, Jesus created the firmament expanse which is above the earth. The expanse covers the domed earth. The word heaven in Genesis 1 is not the heaven where God dwells, but is the sky or the atmosphere. Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 12 verse 2 about going to the third heaven. In Genesis 1 verses 14 through 17, Jesus created the sun, moon, and stars which are in the dome. The phrase "let there be lights in the firmament" is a reference to this fact. These lights are to divide the day and night for seasons, days, and years. The firmament divides the waters above the firmament from the waters under the firmament. The waters under the firmament expanse are the oceans, rivers, lakes, etc. The firmament is clear as crystal, so it's very difficult to see with the naked eye. Ezekiel 1 verse 22 And the likeness of the firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the color of the terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above. The waters that are above the firmament flows from God's throne in the third heaven. It's a river clear as crystal like the firmament. Revelation 22 verse 1 And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. The Antichrist movement owns Hollywood, the media, NASA, etc. It shouldn't be a surprise that they program us to believe the lie about a globe model. There are people right now who can't explain why they believe the Earth to be a globe. However, most can't explain where the concept of a snow globe or dome stadium came from, let alone why the United Nations logo is patterned after a flat Earth. Psalm 104 verse 5 Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever. Just a reminder that the earth is not a spinning globe but on a foundation created by the Most High. There are plenty of verses that supported domed earth. By the way, NASA in Hebrew allegedly means to deceive, and Satan is the father of lies. NASA is a multi-billion-dollar lie owned by the Illuminati. Telescopes, satellite feeds of space, other planets, the moon landing, etc. are all one big stage production by the Illuminati. Note, the astronauts who died in the Challenger explosion are allegedly still alive. Research it. Satan has taught his CIA techniques using TV programming to program our minds. Ephesians 2 verse 2 call Satan the prince of the power of the air. Why are there people walking around with the same identities of the Challenger crew? Why does the United Nations use a flat earth as their logo? Why does Hollywood love to make space movies? Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and watch the next video. Stay bold in Christ. Be vigilant. Have a blessed day.
Do you know it fucking rained diamonds in certain planets like Jupiter and shit?
What?
It rains diamonds.
What
Show him. Do you know it fucking rained diamonds in certain planets like Jupiter and shit?
What?
It rains diamonds.
What
Show him. You believe that shit they tell you, right? If that shit tell you it's true, you believe it, right? If that machine, that shit that these geeks made tell you it's true, you'll believe it. I don't know if it's true, but those geek motherfuckers told me it was true. Imagine we live on a flat fucking world. All this time we thought we lived on a round planet, huh? We have no fucking evidence to believe that we're on a round planet, only by people telling us, but we really don't know who we are, where we came from, who the fuck is our purpose here.
I'm not gonna go for that. You're not gonna tell me that on a round planet, though.
How do you know that? You never been out of space, nigga. Go ahead. What you say? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Now,